Off. Hello, my name is Brad Bodnerchuk, and welcome to the Half a Dozen Hospitality Podcast, where we discuss everything hospitality, from the food on the plate to the teams that make it happen and the community that drives this industry forward. On this podcast, we sit down and chat with some of the most exciting, inspiring, and innovative minds that make up one of the most dynamic industries that there is today. And today, I have the pleasure of being joined by none other than Mila Cuhtino. Welcome to the show, Mila.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
It is a lovely Monday. We are halfway through our day, and I was lucky enough to be invited into this very unique space that Mila has curated for us. And I look forward so much to interviews like this because I come into today knowing very little about you as a person, and that intrigues me so much. And it's the reason why I do this show is because it allows for me to sit down and just dig deep and find out about you and why you do what you do and what it is that you do. So I know you've listened to the show before, and thank you so much for that. But the first question I want to ask you is similar to what I've asked other guests in the past was, can you take us back to your earliest memory of you and food? It doesn't have to do with what you're doing today, but just food and you. Take us back as far as you can with memory. What was your earliest memory, with food that you can remember?
I think I have a lot of memories that relate to food. First of all, I grew up baking, watching my mom bake in her kitchen. So that started my passion for food at an early age. She would never buy anything from the store. She liked to make everything at home.
Right.
I think so. That was my first exposure. And then I also had a nanny who was Greek, and she actually made the most amazing types of dishes.
Okay.
And I still remember one of her desserts. It was a baklava. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
And I can still taste that today.
What was the nanny's name?
Her name was Tula.
Tula. Is Tula still with us?
I think she might be.
No longer talking to Tula?
Not anymore.
No.
It was quite a long way back.
But she left an imprint on you for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And she used to also speak to me in Greek.
Oh, okay.
So I was also exposed to some languages.
Amazing. So what do you feel like that those memories have done for you and the person you are today? Like, how important is food to you, and how does it show up in your day-to-day life? I know you're a mother of a 2-year-old, but how does food show up in your life today? What does it look like?
I take a lot of time to create some recipes at home. When I go to the grocery store, I make sure to check labels.
Okay.
I do that a lot more now. I'm just more aware of what I eat, and try to get local food as much as possible.
Yeah.
And
are you doing a lot of like what your mother would have done back then with the baking? Are you doing a lot of that in the home as well? I know, and you mentioned that off mic, that you still have a passion for baking as well. So you do find yourself doing that quite often?
Yes, I actually bake quite a lot at home. I actually went to pastry school some years ago. So I love doing that from home, and I trained under some local chefs.
Okay. And are you still intrigued by it, or do you do it out of more necessity, or is it something you actually are really passionate about?
I'm very passionate about it. So I love about baking. I just love to be able to share it with my family, friends, community members.
Yeah, that's so cool. And
Yeah.
I know that you brought some for me today.
I did.
I'm really looking forward to trying that after we finish up. Something you just mentioned that stuck out to me was when you do shop, you try and shop local. And I mean, that's not anything new on this show. A lot of people mention the emphasis on local, whether it be restaurants they go to or where they shop at supermarkets or what products they buy. But I know the theme of local really is what your business is all about. So the business is called Garden Grove Gifts.
Yes.
And what you are doing, and feel free to interject here, is you're curating these beautiful baskets or boxes that are full of local products.
That's right.
Tell us more about what Garden Grove Gifts is.
So what I do is I select some of my favorite artisan products
Okay.
um, from I found at farmers markets and just people I've gotten to know.
Hmm.
And of course, we're so lucky to live in a community where we have so many talented artisans.
Right.
So what I do is I put a lot of different artisan goods together.
Hmm.
Um, so I use artisan chocolate, things like gourmet nuts. We pair them with craft beer and BC wine. And we can also add things like French macarons and some other gourmet snacks.
Cool.
Hmm.
Has there been anything that you've come across in trying to curate these boxes that you've been surprised that we do locally and we do really well? Has there been any item that you're like, oh, I didn't realize there's someone in BC or someone in Vancouver producing macarons or anything? Has there been anything else that's kind of been a surprise to you in
Um,
finding?
I think I'm actually always discovering some new products, and that's one thing I love. Just by sometimes going out to farmers markets, you get to try something different.
Right.
So that really is intriguing. And it's interesting to see how we can work with those products and
Hmm.
use them in the gift boxes.
So how does that relationship begin? So say someone's listening right now and they've always thought of a business like this that you're doing. How do you start that relationship? So say I am at the farmers market and I'm producing chocolate, for example. How do you then start that relationship or even introduce the idea of curating boxes with my chocolate in it? How does that begin?
How did it begin?
How does it begin? Just like with getting, say, you have here Kasama chocolate. Is that how you say it?
Cassima chocolate.
Kasama
Hmm.
chocolate. So how did that relationship begin, or is there you just go out and buy it, or how does that work?
Well, for that chocolates in particular, that's actually kind of an interesting story. It's my husband's, a good friend of my husband's, who actually started that company not too long ago.
Okay.
And so I had the opportunity to try it. And it's all bean to bar.
Okay.
Um, so handmade in small batches locally.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a group of four guys that got together and just started this.
Very, very cool. I love the
So,
name. So it's Kasama or Kasama?
Kasama.
Kasama. And do you know what that means?
I think it means collaboration
Oh,
and
wow.
friendship.
Oh, so it's like the perfect product for your boxes.
It is.
That's amazing. Who are you finding has been like your demographic? Who are buying these boxes? Is it just local, or are you getting some people that are kind of outside of BC that are looking to try things from our province or from our city? What are you seeing as far as your demographics?
At the moment, it's mostly locals,
Okay.
and I'm trying to focus on more corporate orders.
Oh, okay.
So I'm getting realtors as well.
Oh, realtors, yeah.
Hmm.
Great. So hey, shout out all you realtors. Hit up Mila for your holiday orders. I'm assuming this time of year too is imperative for you to like do really well because it seems like such a perfect product, a perfect gift for this time of year.
It is. It's a really exciting time. And Christmas is a great time to be able to share these treats with your loved ones or friends.
Are you overwhelmed with the idea of the work that has to be done this time of year, or does it excite you?
It actually really excites me
Yeah.
because I find there's always some new opportunities, new connections to be made. And I really like that part of this type of business.
So going back to my question about
Hmm.
like the start of that relationship. So say for example, I'm listening to this podcast and I do have a product that I would love to get into more people's hands. And I think the
Hmm.
idea of partnering with or working with Garden Grove Gifts would be a great idea. How does that begin? Do I contact you online? Is there a form I fill out? What do I need to do to get considered to be in one of your boxes?
Actually, just reach out and contact me through social media, and then we can just get together and
Okay.
discuss your product. And I'd be really happy to see.
Do you have certain standards in regards to what products you'll put in and what you won't? And what are those standards? Or does it vary per product, by product, pardon me?
Well, they have to be of very high quality
Okay.
and all natural ingredients, organic products when possible.
Yeah. And I see you've got some beer in there. You mentioned
Yes.
local wine as well. So when it comes to beer, we are uh, we are spoiled with options here locally in the West here in Canada. Have you come across any brands that you feel work better in your boxes than others? Can we highlight some breweries that you find are a little bit more suited to what you're doing, or you're welcoming everyone?
I'm open to welcoming a few different types or different breweries.
Right.
Again, we're so lucky to have so many
Hmm.
different breweries. I think craft breweries have become very popular,
Right.
and I like to select a few different types and just mix and match,
Okay.
see what works.
And have you found one that people are more like inspired by or interested by, or is everyone just excited to see what's in the box? Period.
Some I like to change it up a little bit,
Okay.
so it makes it different. So I have a few that I would select from,
Right.
and then make up different boxes depending on what's needed in the gift
Right.
box. And so I use a few different breweries
Yeah.
or beer from different breweries.
Yeah. In different boxes.
That's right.
When you're putting a box together, are you doing it with a certain person in mind, or are you doing it based on what Mila likes, or are you thinking of a certain person every time you curate a box?
I think it started from what I liked, what I thought people would really enjoy.
Right.
So tried and true products.
Hmm.
And I would definitely take into consideration who I'm making the box up for.
Right. And in your mind, who is that person? Like, who is your shopper? What is your, I heard the term avatar. So like if you're building your ideal client, what is their name? What is their age? What do they do professionally? Are they male, female? Does that matter? What are you considering when you started this company even? Who are you trying to speak to?
Um, well, it's quite a range, I
Yeah.
think. So it would be I think I can tailor the boxes
Right.
a little bit,
Okay.
just depending if they're male, female, and I'll try to get to know them a little bit or get to
Okay.
know a bit about the person so
Yeah.
I can definitely add something that
Right.
they'd enjoy.
So with your product, it isn't a I go onto the website and I don't get like box A, box B, box C. I can really tailor a box to me, or do
Definitely.
those like custom? Sorry, do those set in stone boxes exist as well? Like, do you have like a Valentine's Day box, or do you have like a Christmas box, or is it literally Brad wants this, he gets this?
Well, I do have a set collection on my
Okay,
website of
right,
so pre-made boxes,
yeah,
and so you can choose from one of those or personalize it. So I can really use any types of products
right.
that you see from my website and any suppliers that interest you that I can definitely work into my gift
That's
boxes.
so cool.
Yeah.
What challenges have you had from beginning to now? What has been some of the most difficult things you've come up against with this business?
I think probably one that comes to mind would be sometimes people are a bit hesitant at first because maybe the cost.
Hmm.
So I just wanted to let the listeners know too that a lot goes into artisan products.
Hmm.
So you've got production costs, high quality ingredients, specialized equipment. So you have to take all that into consideration
Hmm.
when you're looking at artisan products.
Right. And I feel like people nowadays have a better idea of what it costs to produce quality products.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the consumer, like you said, even when you go to the grocery store, you're reading ingredients, right?
Definitely.
So
Mm-hmm.
you can understand, at least as best you can understand what it takes to make a really quality product. And generally you are going to spend more money on that. That's just the world we live in.
Definitely.
It's like a really nice car costs more than a not nice car. That's just
Mm-hmm.
kind of how it works. So do you find people are challenged a bit by the pricing at times of your product, or?
I think maybe at times, but I think most people really do appreciate
Yeah.
getting that higher quality
Hmm.
and a lot of these products that are not available in grocery stores.
Yeah, which is a
Mhm.
key selling factor.
Yes.
So a lot of these products aren't available in grocery stores.
So that's where I think the uniqueness comes in.
Yeah. So
And
how did you get your hands on these products that aren't available in
mhm.
grocery stores? How did you do that?
Well, some of them had been products that I'd been trying for quite a long time and enjoying.
Hmm.
And a couple of the people that I knew, my um,
They gave you an opportunity, or they just said go for it, or like how did you bridge that gap between them not going down the grocery aisle and going to you? Like why would they give you their chocolate and not Whole Foods their chocolate?
I think just because I'm a small business,
Right.
so they work in small batches,
Hmm.
and it's it's just not like any other types of mass-produced chocolate that you'd find in
Right.
the store.
So it's like two unique products coming together to
Yes.
support each other. I'm a big fan of that. I love small helping small. I think that's how we actually all grow is
Definitely.
when we all help each other out. And that's why I actually love this podcast. Like I was saying before we turn the microphones on, I love that I can provide a platform for people like yourself to come on and
Hmm.
talk about what you do and why you do what you do and help listeners understand better about who you are as a person, but also like I said, your business as well, which I think is really, really smart. And I think it's, like I said, this time of year, I feel like it's a no brainer. Things like this, these products. So
For sure.
do you find that you are fulfilling more orders now that we're getting closer to the holiday season? Is that just your reality right now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And I expect it to continue.
Fingers
uh,
crossed. Yeah,
yes.
that's
And
amazing.
I'll also be participating in a local market or
Okay.
craft fair.
Yeah.
They'll bring together a few community
Hmm.
vendors. So that's a
Which
great
market's that?
starting. It's actually going to be held
Oh, right
in
here.
this neighborhood.
Oh,
Hmm.
cool. That's so cool. So when I arrived here, I was greeted by Judith at the front.
Yes.
Shout out to Judith who made us this lovely green tea. Um, Talk to us a bit about community and how important that is to you.
Um, well, I think since moving to this type of community, I've just gotten to know so many people, so many locals. Um, I've gotten to connect with other food makers at farmers markets,
Hmm.
and it just really is nice to have that sense and know other people that are like-minded and that really appreciate the things you do. And
Yeah, that's so cool. What about this industry intrigues you? Like, why did you choose one day that you wanted to have a business based on curating these lovely boxes full of this amazing food? Why food? Does it go back to the days baking with your mom, or is it something different?
I think it's the early days baking that definitely left an impression on me. And I also worked in hospitality. I just recently realized that all the jobs that I previously held
Hmm.
were in the hospitality industry.
Okay.
So just to take you back a little bit, when I was in university, I took a job at Starbucks as a barista.
Oh,
So that
wow.
was my first exposure in or experience in the food and beverage
Hmm.
industry. And then from there, I also worked at Tourism Vancouver.
Okay.
So greeting visitors from all over the world.
Yeah.
And then I also moved on to working as a hotel concierge for a
Oh,
little
okay.
while. And I think that's really where the idea for this business came along.
Okay.
So we get a lot of visitors that would come up to the desk, and they would want something like flowers, and then they'd want some good quality chocolate, and then they'd want maybe a bottle of champagne or wine.
Hmm.
And then these things were all separate. So I think at the time, we didn't really know of any businesses that could create
Right.
something like that would contain all those things.
Right.
So I thought it might be a good idea one day to be able to put all these things together.
How long ago
And
was that, do you think?
That was at least 5 years ago
Oh
now.
wow. So has
Hmm.
that been like brewing in the back of your mind for 5 years?
It has been.
Yeah.
And then this business for me has just been in the works now for a couple years. So I got some ideas together, and then I've just launched it. Actually, this is my first year in
Wow.
business. So
Amazing. How did you come up with the name?
that actually, I was inspired by this area in my neighborhood,
Hmm.
and just the fact that there are a lot of trees. So
Right.
that to me represents some growth
Okay.
and strength
Yeah, I
as
like
a
that.
community in our
Yeah.
relationships. So I thought it was a great
Yeah.
way to
I love it.
present.
I love your branding as well. I think
Thank
it's
you.
like very, who did your branding?
I did myself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Very, very cool. So this is, I'm picking up one of your, I'm guessing like pamphlets or flyers. And this
Yes.
would be what you use. Are you mailing these out? Are you having these at markets or what are you using these for?
I'm actually mailing them all out and
Oh, okay.
giving them out to local businesses.
Very, very cool.
Hmm.
And do you find that you're getting a lot more corporate clients that are ordering en masse than you are like single purchasers, or who, like, what is your demographic right now?
Um, right now, local. So I think people wanting to purchase holiday gifts,
Yeah.
but I've also worked with some offices like more corporations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been abusing your experience at the hotels, and have you gone back to them and pitched them on the idea of maybe having like half a dozen of these at the desk, so if someone comes up, they have like a curated box waiting? And have they, if you've done that, have they been receptive?
Yes, I've actually gone around to a few hotels now, just to show them what I do so that they know that there is this option for their guests. And actually, our boxes are great for hotel guests just because they're in recyclable boxes. So you don't need to have any extra packaging to
Right.
bring with you if you're just here for a little while.
Yeah, that's great.
Hmm.
And what is the, have you been able to watch someone experience one of your boxes? What I mean by that is I ask a lot of times in this show, I'll ask either a chef or a restaurateur or a bartender, whatever. I'll ask them what it's like when they watch someone take a bite of that dish. So have you been able to like be in the room or maybe be with like within a few hundred meters where you could like kind of see someone experience their box? Have you watched them with like, are they excited? Are they intrigued? And what does that do for you? Like, do you feel happy, amazing? What are the feelings you get when you watch someone experience your product?
Well, I did have the chance to watch someone open my boxes. Just a recent friend for her birthday,
Oh, cool.
and just the joy that it brings.
Mhm.
That's also one reason that I love doing what I do.
Right.
Just spreading the happiness.
I love that. That's great.
Hmm.
What is what's your vision for this business, be it a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What is your goal with Garden Grove Gifts?
I think I just like to be able to continue
Hmm.
doing what I do, hopefully even getting even more orders. But for now, I just like to um, keep the small batch artisans,
Right.
keep my connections, and then maybe build new ones in the future. So,
Is your goal to have this be like a company where you're employing people, or are you happy just having it you fulfilling orders and kind of you curating the boxes yourself? Is that kind of in how you see it in your mind's eye?
yes, I can definitely see myself having some employees in the future just to
Yeah.
help out.
Yeah.
Um, I think you definitely need the help once your business grows like that.
Have you felt overwhelmed at any point to date?
Not yet,
No?
because I just love the excitement that it
Hmm.
brings when I have orders. So I'd just like to continue what I do, and
Yeah, that's so cool. What is it about the hospitality industry that you like or that you love? Like you mentioned you worked for Starbucks for a bit,
mhm.
and then you definitely stayed in the industry in regards to working for tours in Vancouver, and then you did some time with hotels. What is it about this industry that intrigues you? Why are you so intrigued by food and beverage and hospitality?
Well, also because I've also always had a passion for food,
Hmm.
And I think I've always had a passion for helping out people.
Okay.
So when I worked in the hospitality industry, it was always frontline service. And I think that's just something that's really important to me. And I've always really enjoyed
Yeah. Do
just
you
giving back.
right?
Hmm.
Do you miss the interactions that you would have had with your tourism job or at the hotel or even at Starbucks? Like, do you miss that every day having that interaction? Obviously, as a mom now and an
Hmm.
entrepreneur, you're not necessarily out there getting that all the time. So, do you miss that interaction?
I do sometimes. And part of that reason, I just love my jobs there. And this is part of the reason why I created this business so that I could continue having those connections
Right.
and being able to help people. And now just being able to help with gift giving and just
Hmm.
making it very special um, for any occasion and for anyone.
Yeah. If you had to pick one product, and this is pretty unfair because I'm sure you have many amazing products that you deal with, but if you had to pick one product out of your boxes that you've curated either currently or in the past, one product that you feel like should be highlighted or is really special or you find is really unique, what's one that pops into your mind and you think this one product was really special?
That's a really hard question. I just love all of the different products that I use. Um, well, one thing that I think is very neat is to highlight BC's wine
Okay.
industry,
Yeah.
just because we have so many different wineries and we're among the best in the world.
Hmm.
So I think it's nice to be able to bring that into the boxes
Yeah.
to pair with the other products.
Is there anyone vineyard or winery that's coming to mind that you think again is kind of a step above or ahead of everyone else, or
Um, I don't think I can. I
you
can
can't play
say
favorites?
I know. No.
That's, you know what, that's very diplomatic of you and probably pretty smart. Um, Looking at the box we have here, would this be very typical of what a guest or a user would get with their boxes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this would be my craft beer box.
Okay. Cool.
So this is pretty much one of the free package ones that
Right.
I would sell.
So we've got
Hmm.
chocolate, we've got nuts, we've got two bomber bottles of beer.
Yes.
Then we have, I'm guessing, oh, more chocolate, which is always a good thing. And then this one here, I can't see. Sorry.
Puff pastry flutes.
Oh, wow,
Hmm.
amazing. And then a love button. Is a love button special for the show, or do they get a love button as well?
They can get a love button as well. Yes.
Amazing, so cool.
Just to share the
Share
love.
the love. That's so awesome. So do you, when you're putting these boxes together, are you getting help from your husband? Is your daughter, I know she's only two, but is she intrigued at all or does she want to get involved and help put it together?
She's very intrigued by what I'm doing,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. So I'm just very lucky to have the support of my family and friends to help out
Hmm.
with my business. And yes, my little one is usually around, wants to play with some of my package supplies,
Yeah,
and
I bet. They're
just
always intrigued by
loves.
boxes.
They are,
Yeah, I don't
and
know what it is with boxes, but they love boxes.
and I suppose it looks very colorful, so
Yes.
makes it attractive.
Do you think it is, I don't want to say important, but do you think there is a lot of value to you doing what you're doing? And what I mean by that is your daughter is obviously watching your every move.
Hmm.
Um, do you think it is important or valuable again for her to be watching you go down this path of being an entrepreneur? And if so, why do you think it is valuable to your daughter?
Um, I think it's really important just that she sees you can do things that you think of
Hmm.
and will put your mind to something and just do it. So I just really like her to have that exposure as she gets older, and hopefully I'll have keep growing my business.
Hmm.
So maybe she can one day help out. But I
That would be
think
great.
it's just something that's intriguing right now to her, and I just have this motivation to do even better and create.
Do you think you're more inspired because you're a mom?
I think I am.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And why is that? Do you think? Like, do you feel like you as a mother have different motives and different drivers than you would if you weren't a mother of a 2-year-old?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think, and since she was born, when I was on maternity leave, and I thought this might be the best time, like just a perfect time to
Right.
launch a business. Um,
Which is very counterintuitive. A lot of people would say the exact opposite,
Really.
right? I think a lot of people would say, you're a new mom, like how can you're going to be so busy, like how can you
Hmm.
start a new business? So I think it is kind of counterintuitive, but that's what I love about it. I love when everyone's going right, I want to go left. So I'm very intrigued by that you had that mindset. Do you feel like you always had this kind of entrepreneurial spirit within you, or did it just show up maybe when you became a mom?
I think I've always had it actually, because since I did hold my jobs in the hospitality industry, and since being a hotel concierge, I always had that idea. But I don't think I just had the time, or there was never that perfect moment, maybe to just start
Right.
it and launch. And so I thought I just felt really inspired and motivated
Hmm.
once I had my daughter,
That's cool.
and
Do you feel like your motivation or inspiration at any time wanes?
um. I don't think so, because I think I really enjoy creating,
Okay.
and just this business keeps me going.
So what would you say to another mother if they're out there listening and maybe they're young mothers with young children and they have an idea, whether it's something similar to your business or they want to knit scarves or they want to open a restaurant or whatever it is, what would be your message to those mothers?
I would say just go for it. I don't think there's ever the perfect time.
Right.
So I think if you keep waiting, that time might not come. So if you're able to balance the family life responsibilities, then and you can just create some time to start something.
Do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Looking back, is there anything, see, you've been doing this part of me for a year now?
About that, yes.
Is there what would you tell the Mila of then? What would the Mila of today tell the Mila of a year ago in regards to this business and how it operates and how it works? Words of advice, words of wisdom, things to do, things not to do, what to avoid, what not to avoid.
Um, I think you just have to put yourself out there.
Okay.
Just keep discovering new vendors or
Right.
whatever. Keep talking to people. Um, just those connections are really important to have, and you just never know what might come about.
So you mentioned you find yourself at farmers markets a lot, talking to vendors. What other sources or other avenues do you use to find new purveyors or new producers?
A lot of places that I've been actually. So for example, for the craft beer, is actually my husband that first introduced me.
Okay.
So we just made some visits to different breweries. We just love tasting them occasionally,
Hmm.
and I've also had the chance to visit some BC wineries
Okay.
in the Okanagan Valley. And
So when you go to these places, are you again, like I think I asked earlier, but I'm not sure if I fully understood the breakdown of how it works. So say I own Brad's Brewery and you want to put Brad's bomber bottles in
Mhm.
your boxes. Do you come to me, Brad, and you say, "Hey, I want to put your beer in my boxes," or do you just go and buy the beer and put it in a box? How does that work?
Well, for a brewery, I think I'd have to buy it first from that brewery,
Mhm.
and then try it for myself. And then I like to also establish a connection with the brewery
Okay.
themselves, and then I might actually show them my products.
Okay. And then once
Hmm.
you've done that, so once you've tried the product, you showed them what you do, then what happens? Are they giving you like first dibs on unique products, or are you just like any other patron of theirs, any other client of theirs, any other customer?
So for breweries or wineries, I'd just be another customer.
Hmm. Okay.
um, but it's a little different with alcohol, I think,
Okay.
with selling it,
Hmm.
because You,
Like logistically, like laws and stuff, you mean? Or
yes. So I am allowed to sell it in my gift boxes.
yeah.
Um, but I just have to make sure that I do purchase it from a liquor store first,
Oh,
but I can
right.
just go try it first
Right.
and
Okay, that
then
makes sense.
purchase
That
it. It's
makes
a bit
sense.
different from my other suppliers where
Right.
I can just go buy it directly from them.
So could you not buy bombers directly from like Steel and Oak, for example, like we see here in front of us? Or do you have to
Um,
go through a liquor store? Or do you know?
for my type of business,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I have to go through a liquor store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So do you actually have to have a license? Like a
No,
rest? No, you don't have to. Oh, okay.
no.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting. So
Mhm.
it's almost like you're like an online liquor store, kind of,
Little
sort of.
bit.
You know what I
But
mean?
of course, everyone has to be over 19 that
Yes.
purchases
Yes.
my gift boxes
Yeah.
containing alcohol.
Yeah.
We also do carry a box that has non-alcoholic.
Oh,
It's
okay.
non-alcoholic.
And what do we find in that as far as beverages? Local kombucha?
Actually, not yet. But I
Oh.
actually have a partnership with one of the local craft soda companies,
Oh, okay. Which one's that?
Philip Soda.
Yes. Yeah. Great, from the
So
island.
I'll include their sodas in my box,
Very
and
cool. I'm a big kombucha guy, and I've had a couple of entrepreneurs on here that have some fantastic kombucha
oh
products. So if you
wow,
ever want an intro, let me know.
definitely.
I'd be more than happy to make some introductions to you, because I'm a non-drinker as well. So I would love this box, just maybe some
It's
Phillips in
a,
there or some kombucha in there as well.
I might think about that going forward.
Yeah, that's very cool. I just think kombucha is just it's blowing up right now. I mean, it's so popular,
It
right?
is, yeah.
And so looking again at this box here, so we've got the two bottles of beer, we've got some chocolate which look delicious, the nuts, and then the for lack of a better term, we'll call them crackers,
Puff
puff
pastry,
pastry. Sorry,
yes.
pardon me. So what would I be paying for something like this on your site?
So this box here is 115.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
And do you find people are happy with that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually includes delivery.
Oh, amazing.
Hmm. So
And do you mind if I ask what method are you using for delivery?
just myself,
Oh, okay.
I'll personally deliver gift boxes
Oh my
to my
gosh.
clients, to their offices, homes, hotels.
Wow. Within a certain radius, or doesn't matter? What if they're in Williams Lake?
Well, I just offer free delivery, of course, in Metro
Oh,
Vancouver
okay,
for
cool.
now.
Yeah.
But you can definitely, if you're outside of that area, just give me a call and I will put something together to give to someone that's local.
Right.
So
How do
you,
you currently, like, these are fantastic. Obviously, you said you're dropping these off at local offices and
yes,
mailing these out.
yes.
How else have you found has been valuable to you for as far as marketing? Like, how are you marketing your brand and what you do?
I think a lot of it right now is on social media.
Okay.
So I'm on Instagram. Um, and I'm also part of a local small business marketing newsletter that will
Oh,
get
okay.
sent out. So they include me. It will actually be in a holiday gift guide
Oh, very
coming up
cool.
soon. So they'll be sent out to a lot of people locally and nationwide.
That
So
helps. Wow.
it's very
Amazing.
exciting.
Have you tried any other platforms, be it like Facebook or Twitter or anything like that you have found success? Or right now it's just been Instagram and then local kind of in print?
Pretty much Instagram, and I just like going out to places myself,
Oh, okay.
so people can get to know me
Right.
and the products that I offer.
What have you been doing? And the only reason I'm asking, because I'm being kind of selfish here because I love to know.
Hmm.
But what have you done on Instagram that you have found has been really beneficial for you as far as getting traction or getting people either engaging on your posts, or not only engaging on your posts, but then becoming clients? Like, is there anything you've done that you found has really, really worked from a marketing standpoint?
I think it's really just keeping your photos bright and colorful, and just making sure that you're always have pictures of your products
Oh,
up
okay.
so that people can see what you're doing.
Yeah, consistency is
Being
definitely,
consistent is
yeah.
important. Yes.
Do you enjoy that aspect of it, or do you find it work? Meaning like curating your Instagram page. Do you find it an annoyance or do you actually enjoy it?
I actually enjoy it.
Yeah?
Well, it's meant to be social.
Right. Yeah.
And I've actually discovered quite a few amazing people. And just like
Yeah,
yourself.
exactly. That's how
So
we
I've
came
had that
connected. Yeah.
connection. So
Yeah.
it's amazing the power of social media, what it can do.
Yeah. I feel at times it can
Um,
be, sorry, finish your thought. Go ahead.
Sometimes it can be overwhelming or a little bit too much.
Hmm.
So I think it's good to have the balance where you spend a little bit of time on there connecting with maybe future clients or other people,
Right.
other local businesses.
Has there been anyone that's reached out to you in the background that wasn't at the time maybe a product that you featured, but now is?
There's actually one that recently approached me.
Okay.
Actually, I think I've had a
Oh, cool.
few on there. People that approached me and they said, "Hey, could we maybe
Be considered.
be considered?" And so I'm always really happy to connect with those people and learn more about their products.
And is your first thing you say, send me a sample?
Only if they're willing, but of course they have to try it, and
Right. And
it's
so are people that are contacting you, are they very much like on your niche? Are they different? Or have you had to say no to anybody?
I don't think I've actually said no just
No?
yet.
Do you have an issue with saying no?
It's very hard for me to say no.
I take you as someone who's very accommodating,
Okay.
but you shouldn't be afraid of saying no, especially when it comes to your own business. You should be picky at sometimes because I mean, you want for these boxes, like you said, you want them to kind of speak for you and who you are and what the business is. So
Right.
you don't want to ever kind of deviate from that.
Mm-hmm.
But we are again spoiled with so many fantastic local producers and
We
artisans
are.
that make so many fantastic products. And I've been lucky enough to have a lot of them on my show. And the first thing that comes to my head is someone like Natalie, who makes East Van Jam. I don't know if you know of her product, but
Yes,
it's
I've had her
amazing.
products.
I mean, I could definitely see her product in here. The only issue with Natalie's is it has a shorter shelf life because there's not a lot of that added
Yes,
BS in there. So
that's right. And I find that with a few of my products, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that logistically? So if you have, so are you the items that have a shorter shelf life? Are you very cognizant of that, and are you purchasing less of those? And if you run out, you run out, or how does that work logistically?
We'll purchase things like chocolate wholesale. So those last a little bit longer.
Right.
But sometimes I do have to just make smaller orders at the last minute sometimes, uh, just to fulfill some orders.
Right. And do you find that becomes a stress for you or no?
I guess that can be a little bit of the stress,
Is there
but
anything you can do to mitigate that, to make that, or is that just the reality of the business?
it's part of the reality of this business, and I am used to last minute requests. I did get a lot of them as a hotel concierge.
Right. So thinking on your
So
feet.
exactly. So people coming to me all the time, wanting all sorts of things brought up to their homes, and
Can a business be too accommodating, or is there no such thing? Can we always accommodate our guests and our customers?
um, I think at times, well, you just have to be careful.
Right.
Just make sure that you learn enough about a product, and sometimes certain things won't fit with what you're doing. But of course, for me, I'm always happy to give someone a chance and
Right.
try out and really appreciate what people do.
If you could give us, and maybe you've done this, maybe you've actually done this, or maybe you haven't, but give us your checklist of what a product needs to tick off to be considered to be in one of your boxes. So we know first and foremost, local,
Definitely.
definitely. You mentioned like ingredients, so quality ingredients,
High quality
high quality ingredients.
ingredients.
So check that.
Yes.
What else has to be checked?
Small batch.
What does that mean to you?
So just creating smaller quantities.
Okay.
So there's more quality control that way. So we just know that that artisan is really taking the time
Okay.
and putting in effort to make sure that their products are of great quality.
Okay, so we've got local, we've got quality ingredients, we've got small batch. What
Hmm.
else?
Um,
Is that it? Does the branding have to look a certain way? Does the packaging have to be like, are you against plastics? Are you like, does it not matter? What other things do you have to check off? Or are those the three that just, those three will get you considered?
I think those are the three for now.
Hmm.
I'm trying to work towards getting products that are more recyclable and
Like the
so less
packaging?
plastic.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just more eco-friendly materials.
Do you find producers are at least making efforts to do that?
I think, especially with chocolate, I think that's the easiest thing. You can find eco-friendly packaging for that, and of course, some other products that contain cardboard boxes,
Right.
which is great. But I have a feeling this is something that food makers or local makers might be working towards with their
Hmm.
packaging.
Yeah, I see it coming. I mean, now we're seeing even in the neighborhood that I live in, there's a grocery store called Nada, Nada. I don't know if you've heard of
Okay,
it.
no, I
It's
haven't.
so shout out to Nada Grocery. It is a grocery store that has no packaging. So you show up with
Mm,
like your jars or your boxes that you bring yourself, you weigh them empty, then you fill them with whatever product you're buying, whether it's rice or
mm,
soap or whatever it is.
that's a very interesting
Yeah,
concept.
so there's like zero waste is the idea in regards to packaging. So it's great. And it's right in our neighborhood, which is fantastic. But we are seeing now a lot of companies that are building their businesses on that model
Right,
of no packaging at all,
right.
which would be difficult. I'm assuming putting those products in a box like yourself. But I think going back to what we were saying originally was just people being more cognizant, maybe using packaging that is recyclable or compostable or
Yes.
doing things that are a little bit more cognizant of the planet.
Hmm.
So would that be a check mark to you? Do you think at one point, one day, that if the packaging is very considerate for our planet, would that maybe be a point they could use to get into one of your boxes?
I think it definitely would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's important to me, and I also want to be able to support the environment, and
Hmm.
that's a very important
Yeah,
thing.
I think it's great. Since you listened to the show before, you know these questions are going to come up. So I'm
Yes.
guessing you're prepared. You take me as someone. You strike me as someone that would be always be prepared. So I'm going to ask you the questions that you know are coming. The first one I have for you, Mila, is the half a dozen have tos. So I need from you 1 to 6 things that you've done in your life that you want the listeners to do or to experience. A trip you've taken, a record you listened to, a piece of art you've purchased, a sweater you own. 1 to 6 things that you've done that you think our listeners just have to try.
The first one that comes to mind is you have to take a cooking class.
Okay.
I think it's a lot of fun. You'll always learn something. You might learn how to use or incorporate local ingredients into your cooking.
Yes. I,
There's
I like that one a lot. Do you have anyone that you want to highlight in regards to classes that you've been to, or no? Just doesn't matter who or where or what. Just go to a class.
well, I've actually been to a lot of different cooking and baking classes in the area.
Oh, okay.
But one that's a favorite, maybe I can shout out to them.
Hmm.
It's the Dirty Apron Cooking
Yes,
School.
Dirty Apron is so great.
And if I want to, I should add this. I actually met my husband in one of their cooking classes. So it means a
Whoa.
lot to me.
Wow. How long ago was that?
That must have been about 7, 8 years ago now.
And what was the class? Do you remember?
It was a singles class, which I don't think they have anymore.
Oh, maybe they should.
But all their classes are great.
Yeah, yeah, we did a class. My partner Lindsay and I did a class a couple of years
Oh,
ago. We
really?
did a seafood class, and it was just, yeah, it was fantastic. I
Hmm.
had never cooked octopus before, and I love like grilled octopus, and it was incredible. So yeah, shout out to the Dirty Apron. Hey, not only are you guys putting on amazing classes, you're putting people together and creating lifelong relationships and bringing babies into the world. So
Definitely, it's amazing.
yeah, so cool, amazing. Okay, that was one. That was an amazing one. Anything else?
Another one, I think you have to try to learn a new language.
Okay.
Some people say that they don't think they can. But I just think it's a really neat skill to have, and it really expands your knowledge of just other cultures as well, and
Hmm.
just even being able to connect with people from other countries.
And how many languages do
Um,
you speak?
I speak a few.
Okay.
I studied languages at university.
Oh, okay.
So I speak French. I'm working on my Italian and Spanish,
Very
and
cool.
I understand some German.
Amazing.
Hmm.
Do you travel at all with your family?
I actually only traveled to Europe once.
Okay. Where did you
I
go?
went to Spain.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
And were you able to speak some Spanish there, or had you not taken it on yet?
I was able to speak some there at the time.
Yeah.
It was an amazing place to be,
Yeah, it's
and
beautiful there, isn't it?
definitely.
The
And then
food, the
and
people.
the food, the people, their sense of hospitality. It's
Hmm.
incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing. Those are two fantastic ones. Do you have any more?
Um, I think you just have to keep your body and mind healthy all
Okay.
the time.
And what does that look like for you?
So just mentally engaging in activities, keeping fit,
Right.
keeping active.
How do you keep?
Um,
What do you do as a mom and an entrepreneur? How do you keep fit?
I really enjoy going for walks,
Okay.
neighborhood walks, hikes. I actually used to play curling.
Oh,
Hmm.
really?
Hmm. So maybe that's another have to
Yeah, you got to
try
curl.
curling. It's very
Yeah,
Canadian.
very Canadian, very Canadiana. Wow, so cool. Where did you
Hmm.
curl?
In North Vancouver.
Oh, okay. I forgot. Did you say you're born and raised?
I'm born and raised actually
Wow.
from North Vancouver originally.
Okay. A
Hmm.
rare breed. There's not many of you left, meaning, excuse me, meaning people that like actually grew up here that I meet on the show. Everyone's
Oh,
usually from
really?
somewhere else. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of cool that you are still, excuse me, still kind of in your neighborhood, which is kind of awesome. So we've got we'll call that four then because we added curling. Do you have any more? Do you have two more or no? Is that it? We can tap out there if you want.
I think every day
Hmm.
before you go to bed, you should always think of three things that went well or that you're thankful for
Oh,
that
okay.
day.
I love that one. A little bit of gratitude in your life goes
Yes.
a long way.
Yes.
Can you share with myself and the listeners if you can remember what were your three yesterday?
Probably one would be thankful for the time I get to spend with my daughter and my husband.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe being able to bake, just
Yes.
making
Yeah,
something that I
that is a
love,
gift.
just
Yeah.
doing something that I love.
Yeah. Amazing.
And just grateful for this community that I live in. I
Yeah.
think just feel lucky every day.
Yeah.
It's so vibrant. There's such great people
People
to
like
meet.
Judith.
Yes, exactly.
Judith is amazing. I feel like Judith should be on the show. Do you have one more for us, or is that it?
I think that's covered it
Cool.
for
I like that.
now.
Those are great. I love the first one was amazing. I mean, gosh, the fact that you met your husband there, I mean, disclaimer, we're
Hmm.
not saying that you're definitely going to meet your husband or your wife at Dirty Apron, but you should definitely go and try it
Yes, please
regardless.
do.
Regardless. Next I have for you then, Mila, is the half a dozen haven't yet. So 1 to 6 things that you haven't experienced in your life that you want to. So kind of like a bucket list. What are
Okay.
those for you? 1 to 6.
Um, I definitely like to go back to Europe, Italy and France, I think, for the food
Hmm.
and just to be able to practice my languages there.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
And so, besides that, I'd also like to write a book.
Oh, okay.
It's
What would
always
be
been a dream.
fiction, nonfiction?
Just about life experiences,
Oh, okay. Like a
maybe
memoir?
something like that.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
With memories of food and maybe including some recipes as well,
Maybe lemon curd recipes?
possibly.
I should get you in touch with Jackie Ellis. Jackie Ellis used to own Boku Bakery in Vancouver,
Right, I've heard of
and
that.
she just released her book, her memoir, I think a year and a half ago or a year ago.
Oh,
It's really, really, really
okay.
good.
I should
Yeah,
read
you
that.
definitely should. It's beautifully written. She did a fantastic job. So shout out to you, Jackie, for doing that. So we've got travel, we've got writing a book. Anything else on your list of haven't yet?
Well, I'd like to eventually create my own line of baked goods, maybe to add to my gift
Ooh.
boxes. So that's a way that I could grow my business.
And would they be under the same name, or would they be like Mila's Muffins, or what are you thinking?
Be under Emmy's Cookies and Sweets. I already
Emmy's?
have a name for it.
Oh, very cool. Is it already a business?
It's actually in the works.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Hot off the press. I like that.
Yes.
Is that your daughter's name?
It's her nickname.
Her nickname, very cool.
Yeah.
So is it Emily?
Yes, it is.
Yes, amazing. Yeah, that's so cool. Emmy's. That's great. I love the name of that.
Cookies and Sweets.
Very, very cool. Any other heaven yets you want to add to the list? More podcasts?
Maybe. More opportunities like this
Yeah, I think it's
would be great.
Yeah, for sure. So, hey, if you guys are out there and you want to give Mila a bit of love and you have a podcast or some platform she can come on, please reach out to her. She is on Instagram at Garden Grove Gifts.
That's right.
And email I see emails right here.
Info at gardengrovegifts.com.
And if you're locally, she's going to deliver to you personally for free.
I will.
Which is amazing. And this is going to air right around holiday time. So this is like the perfect.
Oh, that's wonderful.
If you guys are listening, head over to her website. It is www.gardengrovegifts.com.
That's right.
And get yourself and your loved one and your loved one and your dog and your grandmother a box of her amazing curated goods. I want to take a second to highlight you, Mila, and celebrate you for doing what you do. I think it's so cool, like I said before we turn the microphones on, that I have an opportunity with my show to meet people like you and to give you guys a platform to come on and not only highlight what you do, but also who you are as a person. So I want to say thank you for coming onto the show, and I want to thank you for doing what you do, being an entrepreneur in a time where it can be very challenging to be an entrepreneur and scary. And especially as I'll call you a new mom of a 2-year-old. There are many reasons why, quote unquote, you shouldn't do this, but you are. And I think that's so inspiring for me and so many of the people that are listening as well. So thank you for going against the grain a bit and doing what you do.
Oh, thank you. Really appreciate it. And thanks for having me on here.
No, it's been a blast. And if people do want to reach out, the best way to do it is through social media.
Through social media, you can connect with me on Instagram.
Amazing. Again, guys, she is at Garden Grove Gifts on Instagram, and then info@gardengrovegifts.com for emails. That is it, guys. I want to thank you so much, Mila, for coming on the show. I want to thank you guys, as always, for tuning in week after week. Again, this will be airing close to the holidays, so hold your loved ones close. Tell them you love them, and don't be crazy. Get them a box from Garden Grove Gifts, right? Shameless plug. That is it, guys. I am Brad. That is Mila. This is the Half a Dozen Hospitality Podcast. Thank you so much again. Until next time, guys, be good and do good. That's it. We did it. Good job.
Thank you so much.